Welcome back, everybody, once again to our picks, NFL Weekly Picks video. This is going to be week 3. My name is Justin, and this is Jake with me here. What a crazy week 2 we had, Jake. Some teams that looked awful came back and looked really good in week 2, and some teams that crapped the bed in week 1 came back and looked
Exhibit A.
Or they look really good and they crapped the bed in week 2. I'm not even ready for this picks video apparently. But thank you guys for joining us. We're going to do our best to pick the winners here in week 3. Jake, let us know, how did we do last week? Who got more games right?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. You just described the NFL in a nutshell. You know, you never really know week to week, and you just can't really bet on most of these games. But Justin, you can go bet on some of these games, sir, because you would have had a fine day at the casino week 2 NFL Sunday, because you went 13-3, Justin. Your 3 losses were Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and New Orleans. So congratulations to you, sir. You just took a tremendous lead in the NFL picks.
Yeah, I feel like a professional. So you hear that, guys? Just follow my picks, and maybe you'll win some money. Don't do that. You can't trust me. It's luck, people. There's a lot of luck. I'm surprised.
At the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that. Awesome.
Yeah, 13-3. So if you have a personal vendetta against the 3 teams that lost, again, it was Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, New Orleans. I followed up that tremendous performance by you, Justin, by going 8-8. So just floating around 500. If you want to win some money, lose some money, go with mine. But if you want to cash the big ticket, go with Justin's. And I believe that takes our totals to, you had 9 week 1, 13 week 2. Quick math tells me that's 22 wins on the year, and I have 18. So you have a 4-game lead on me, Justin.
Ooh, I just shot up into the lead. As these things go, though, it's going to balance back out. I know. It's not going to last, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it while I have the lead here.
Love it. Let's hopefully I can reel off a 13-win week here and just get right back into it.
All right. Well, let's get started here for Thursday Night Football. Jake, we've got the 2-0 Carolina Panthers taking on the Houston Texans, who will be without Tyrod Taylor. The Saints let me down because the Panthers last week beat them and looked good doing it. Is this Sam Darnold Carolina Panthers a playoff team? They are looking like a playoff team, Jake. I did not expect to see this season. I'll just go ahead and start off the bat, especially without Tyrod Taylor. Poor guy. He was giving it his best, playing really well for him. He was doing things against that Cleveland Brown defense. That would have been an interesting game had he stayed healthy. But nevertheless, he's out. So that, based on how Carolina's playing, I got to go with the Panthers on the road here on Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I am going to take Carolina in this one. Through 2 weeks of the NFL season, though, you nailed it right on the head, Justin. The Carolina Panthers are quite the eyebrow raiser of a team, alongside the Las Vegas Raiders for eye raisers of the early NFL season. If Tyrod Taylor was playing in this game, I would be maybe more inclined to take Houston the slight upset, because I think Houston's better than people think. It's a team full of veterans that have been slept on and kind of cast aside. And, being a veteran in the NFL is worth, kind of its own weight. But especially with the backup quarterback coming in for Houston, I'm going to take Carolina.
Yeah. All right, then let's move on to Sunday here, the noon slate of games. Kind of an interesting matchup here. We got the Washington football team on the road against the Buffalo Bills, who got things right in a big way against the Miami Dolphins, 35-0, butt kicking. Washington won a thriller against the Giants by 1 point. And, I like Taylor Heineke, but he's an exciting quarterback to watch, but I got to go with the Bills at home here. I mean, they kind of came out slow with losing that first game against Pittsburgh, but this is the Buffalo Bills team I think most people were expecting to see. So I'm going to take Buffalo here, Jake.
Yeah, I pondered on this as being kind of my upset of the week, but having the Giants give Washington a good battle, even though Washington did come out on the winning end, kind of maybe doctored my faith a little bit in the Washington football team. So hopefully, they can kind of reel it back with their defense, get Chase Young going. And but talking up the Washington football team, I'm going to take the Bills in this one. It is an intriguing game, though. I think it could be a closer game than people think.
It could be. It could be a lower scoring game if Washington can contain Josh Allen and some of those weapons there. Keep it close. But, oh no, I hit the wrong button. Here we go. All right, let's move on here. The Chicago Bears are finishing their tour of the Ohio teams by taking on the Cleveland Browns, who did defeat the Houston Texans. And as for Chicago, here it is, Jake, finally. Well, not finally. I think a lot of people were like, by week 3, 4, it's going to happen. Justin Fields is slated to be a starter. Not necessarily for a poor performance from Andy Dalton, but Andy Dalton got injured. So it is going to be the Justin Fields show. He did come in relief of Dalton and that injury last week. Didn't do a whole lot. I didn't really watch much of how he performed, but his stats were very average or subpar even. So with a week to prepare, though, with him being the starter, do you think that's going to make a difference here? They are on the road. So what's your take for this game, Jake?
It's another interesting matchup, especially with Baker Mayfield kind of coming back or off of that injury in the Houston game, still kind of questionable there. I mean, he's going to play. He obviously came back in the game last week and finished, but you never know what kind of lingering pain or injury he's dealing with. But I am going to go with Cleveland here, Justin. I really think Cleveland is legit. I think they are going to be a playoff team. I think they could contend down the road. I just think they're a really well put together team. As for Justin Fields, not the greatest regular season splash play in the second half of that Cincinnati game. For all the bettors out there, he threw a couple of picks and Cincinnati was able to come back and cover despite losing the game. And just, for that reason, I don't have a ton of faith in Fields yet. He's still super young. I mean, obviously, great athlete, probably going to be a great quarterback in this league. But give it a little bit of time. I got the Browns.
All right. I'm gonna make a little dumb pick here because I do like Cleveland. They kind of struggled though coming out of the gate against Houston, but like you said, maybe Houston's just a little bit better than what a lot of people were not giving them credit for. And the Bears, maybe with the week to prepare, Justin Fields can do things, but I think I'm going to take Chicago here, getting a surprising win in Cleveland. So if you're relying on me to make a smart pick, I would not go with this one. But, I've got to differ from you eventually some here.
Fair enough.
But, and it's worth noting that Jarvis Landry went to IR. Status of Odell Beckham Jr., is he healthy? So if not, then who are some of these weapons that Baker's going to have to throw to, or are they going to have to rely on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to carry the load? And if the Bears can contain the run, I think this game could be close. And maybe Justin Fields makes enough plays down the stretch to pull it out. So, I'm just kind of grasping for straws here, but I'll take Chicago in this one. Why not?
Anything to give you hope,
Yeah, I'm just trying to rationalize it in my mind as best I can. So I'll take the Bears. Next game here, I think we're probably both going to see the same way. We got Baltimore going on the road to take on the Lions. Baltimore, big-time win against the Kansas City Chiefs. I did pick that game, but I still hated to see it. I don't like seeing the Ravens win, ever. The Lions showed some hope Monday night against Green Bay, and then they came back down to earth, and Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers and the Packers do and took it to them, losing in a big way to the Packers. I've got Baltimore. I think they continue to build off that momentum from the Chiefs game, and they handle the Lions pretty easily here. What about you?
I saw the little glimmer of hope from Detroit on Monday night. Is Dan Campbell going to get his first win as head coach? It's going to be a tough one at home against the Ravens. I mean, shout out the Ravens for being really, really resilient in that Sunday night win against the Chiefs, rather. I am going to go with Baltimore here. I would like to see Detroit get a win or two, but I don't think it's going to happen this week against Baltimore.
Yeah, I think, that first half was impressive. I don't think anybody was really, I know the Packers looked horrible week 1, but I don't think that anyone was really giving the Lions much of a chance in this game. They looked good. They were surprising me how they were winning against the Packers by halftime, right? Like 17-14.
I'm not sure if they were leading at half, but like after the first quarter, it was either tied or they were neck and neck early on.
Yeah, so if they can just compete for a full 60 minutes, like, yeah, I think they're going to win a handful of games this year for sure. So the future's not horribly bleak there in Detroit. But yeah, we got them losing to the Ravens here. We got an AFC West divisional matchup. It's a couple of exciting young quarterbacks. Justin Herbert and the Chargers will be on the road to Arrowhead to take on this Kansas City Chiefs team who, oh man, you got to be bummed if you're a Chiefs fan. I mean, that game just slipped out of your fingers with the
literally
from the running back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should not have lost that game. So I'm going to have to take the Chiefs here, bouncing back. But it's not an easy pick because, the Chargers, they've played a couple close games here, almost took down they held what everyone says is a high-powered Dallas offense to 20? It was 20 to 17. So really they contained them as it was the offense and Justin Herbert who didn't put up enough points. And I feel like that, they were slacking in that game. So I could see this being more high scoring for sure, given the offenses on the field. But I think the Chiefs are going to have to right the ship. They got a bad taste in their mouths, letting that Baltimore game get away from them. I'll take Kansas City here, Jake. What about you?
I'm also taking the Chiefs coming off of the loss. Look for them to rebound. But hey, Justin, there's something cracking, glimmering hope for the Titans Super Bowl hopes.
What's that?
I'm going to jut off of and go down a little avenue here.
But the Kansas... I'm locked in.
The Kansas City Chiefs defense has been struggling early on. I know it's just 2 weeks, and I know, there's time to get it figured out. There's 15 more games in the season. But the Chiefs are among one of the worst rushing defenses thus far. Bottom of the barrel, having trouble containing offenses. I think the Chiefs are beatable, Justin, and the Chargers have had the Chiefs up against the ropes in recent memory. It could be a closer game than people think, but, Kansas City at Arrowhead, pretty tough task. I'm still going with the Chiefs, despite the slight offshoot of, the Chiefs are beatable.
Yeah. I definitely agree. As far as the run defense goes, I mean, they have played the Browns and the Ravens, who are two of the better running teams in the league. So maybe this could be a get-right game for that run defense.
Good point.
But if you're the Chargers, I mean, run the ball. Don't just say Herbert's going to have to carry us with his arm. Should really test that Chiefs run defense and see if you can find some success as well. We'll see what happens in that game, but we both got the Chiefs there. Moving on to the New Orleans Saints and the Jameis Winston, thrown for 5 touchdowns week 1, thrown for none and 2 picks last week. Jameis Winston is still Jameis Winston, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Going to go on to take on the New England Patriots, who got their first win, beating the Jets in a big way, 25-6. It'll be interesting to see how this Patriots defense, how good are they? I know they made life a living hell for Zach Wilson and that offense, but maybe that's more of the Jets' ineptitude. And they also had a good outing against the Miami Dolphins in week 1, holding them to 17 points. Saints only putting up 7 points last week. So this could be a lower scoring game. The Saints really disappointed me. I thought they could, you even said last week that, the Saints look like they could beat even Tampa Bay if they play like that, how they played against Green Bay. If they are that good, look for them to beat Tampa Bay 1 or 2 times this year in that division. But that was rough. Or maybe Carolina is just that good. I don't know, but I'm going to take New England in this game. They're at home. I like Bill Belichick against a mistake-prone quarterback in Jameis Winston. So give me the Patriots here.
Now, you described the Jameis Winston roller coaster. I mean, I was trying to think of one of the phrases, you can't take the picks out of Jameis, but you can't. He'll always throw them. It'll always be a roller coaster. I was going to reach for that. I'm glad I didn't end up finishing the quote. But it's going to be a roller coaster with the Saints and Jameis Winston experience. The Patriots looking decent throughout the first 2 weeks here. Defense looking stout. I'm with you, Justin. I like the Bill Belichick comment on a kind of mistake-prone quarterback. But as we know, with Jameis Winston, up, down. And for that reason, I'm taking the Saints as my upset pick this week. I think they're underdogs going to New England. It's going to be a close one, I think. but we'll see if Mac Jones can keep up with the production, for better or for worse, of Jameis Winston.
Yeah. New England is the line is New England at -3, and then but that's probably due to the home field advantage there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Alvin Kamara is a matchup problem. Maybe he gives the Patriots some fits if he can get going. Yeah, Saints definitely have a shot in this game. But so I got Patriots. You got Saints. We'll see how that plays out. This is a struggle of a game here, Jake. We got the 0-2 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 0-2 New York Giants, who really blew that game at the end there against Washington. Falcons throwing a couple pick sixes last week, blown out by Tampa Bay. We got our old buddy Arthur Smith trying to dial up some offense against our old buddies Logan Ryan and Adoree Jackson for the Giants. A couple ex-Titans and coaches there in that game. I'll throw it to you first, Jake. Which of these teams is going to get their first win?
Man, oh man, was that a brutal way to lose a football game last Thursday by the Giants. A missed field goal. Oh, wait, offsides. And run it back and, of course, knock it through. The Giants had plenty of opportunity to win that game. And I just think the Giants, I think both of these teams stink out loud, frankly. And, just for any other reason or semblance of hope, I just kind of want to cheer for Art Smith to get a win. I have been picking against the Falcons quite vehemently and just I'm not a believer in them at all. I think Matt Ryan's over the hill. But, the Giants, Daniel Jones experiment, not looking great. So I'm going to go with the Falcons and our old buddy Art Smith to get his first win as a head coach here.
Yeah, I like everything you said. And I think I'm going to go with Atlanta as well. What's going on with Saquon Barkley? I mean, he's still hyped up and talked about as one of the most premier backs in this league. He busted out for a 40-plus yard run against Washington and did nothing the rest of the game. He really hasn't lived up to what he did his rookie season. I think he had one other good year. It might have been the following year. Then he had that injury, and he just hasn't done anything. And I don't know if it's him or if it's the offensive line or if he's just stuck on a bad team where they can't ever get in any kind of rhythm. But I still keep waiting on Saquon Barkley to do something. But, as far as, talent goes, I like Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts. I think they have just more talent and weapons on offense there to get the job done. So I like Arthur Smith and our Arthur Smith and his Falcons.
Yes.
I'll take them to get the win.
Perfect.
Let's move on. Another divisional matchup here. Pretty interesting. Cincinnati. Joe Burrow. What happened with throwing 3 straight picks on 3 straight passes there, bub? That wasn't the Joe Burrow that we know. And I'm a believer in Joe Burrow. I think he's going to be a quarterback for a long time for Cincinnati if he can stay healthy. Going up against Pittsburgh, who lost to the Raiders. One of those surprise teams, I think. So can Joe Burrow and the Bengals get right and get it done against the Steelers? Jake, what do you think?
This is a tough one for me, Justin. I am a big believer in Joe Burrow. Absolutely. I've been picking the Bengals so far this season, and I think that they can put it together over time. Is Zach Taylor not the answer at head coach? I thought they really looked flat against the Bears. I watched that entire game. Southwest Ohio, that's just what we get on the antenna here.
Yeah.
But going to Pittsburgh, another kind of question mark for me. I mean, what is Big Ben doing? I haven't really gotten a chance to watch the Steelers yet this year, but it seems like they're just kind of teeter-totter, kind of plodding along. I mean, I'm sure Mike Tomlin's going to get them to 9 or 10 wins by some grace of God, because that's just what he does. But as long as Big Ben's back there and the Bengals are still trying to put it together, I'm going to go with the home field advantage here and take Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, again, just like New England, they're only favored by 3 in this game, and they do have the home field advantage. And I totally agree. I don't know what Pittsburgh is this year either. They go up and beat the Bills in their own stadium, and then they come back and lose to the Raiders. You got the Bengals coming in, so it's like, all right, what kind of Pittsburgh Steelers team are we dealing with here? Just to spice things up and make things interesting, I'm going to go opposite, Jake. I'll take the Bengals and Joe Burrow to get things right. I like the weapons they have. I don't think Joe Burrow's going to put up another stinker 3 interception game. despite being in Pittsburgh, playing against an always tough Steelers defense. So, sure, why not? I'll go with Cincinnati, and the Bengals will surprise again. How they kind of surprised against Minnesota week 1. I got them taking down the Steelers here.
Perfect.
All right, let's do a Arizona Cardinals matchup. And what they did to the Titans still just like is burned in my memory and stings. And I'm all about the Arizona hype train from here on out with how bad they pummeled us. They might do some pummeling here, Jake. They go to Jacksonville to take on Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence and the 0-2 Jags. Cardinals benefited last week, though, with the Minnesota kicking curse. With the Vikings, Greg Joseph missing that game-winning field goal. I got the Cardinals, though. They're going to move to 3-0 here, beating the Jags. What about you?
That's classic. I think I might pick the Cardinals every week from here on out, solely based off of their week 1 performance. I mean, you said it was the most humbling. The Cardinals came out and looked like absolute world beaters. They could have beat anybody on that day. But, something to be said about the Titans looking just completely lackluster. Anyways, I am going to take Arizona here. What is going on in Jacksonville? I mean, I feel like Urban Meyer's already got one foot out the door. He's putting out these weird quotes with Photoshops, and he's like, we will get this turned around. And he told the Broncos coach, he goes, it's like playing Alabama every week. Well, no shit, Urban. I mean, come on, dude. It's the NFL. You're going to have a high level of competition. Anybody can beat anybody. And you're surprised that it's hard. I mean, it seems like everything I thought about Urban Meyer coming into the Trevor Lawrence and Jags situation is just unfolding exactly the way that everybody thought it would. And it's kind of a disaster. Trevor Lawrence, through the first 2 games, has thrown the highest percentage of uncatchable balls in the league. And they said, he's number 1. He's throwing the most uncatchable balls. I get it. Rookie mistakes. I mean, getting used to the NFL speed. But, man, at least Zach Wilson is throwing catchable balls. I mean, defensive catchable balls. But, anything. You're looking for anything from this Jags team. I expect them to go to an 0-3 hole and have another press release, Twitter, statement from Urban Meyer about how devastated he is after the loss.
Hang in there with us, guys. And, oh, man, the Cardinals, they could beat Alabama maybe. I didn't know I was going to prepare for a team better than Alabama every week. Oh, Lord. And you got to feel a little bad for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's that bad in terms of throwing the most uncatchable passes. I think he's just in a bad situation on a bad team, and he's just trying to make things happen. He could be one of these quarterbacks down the road where, given a better system, his career may have looked different, could have panned out better. He could have been one of the greats maybe, because I believe in his talent for sure. And I know it's only 3 games. I mean, good grief. I'm getting way ahead of ourselves. So he could still be the guy in Jacksonville, obviously. But, after 2 games, it's not looking good. I don't expect it to get better here in week 3 for him. Let's move on to an 0-2, previously mentioned Jets team and Zach Wilson going to Denver to take on the 2-0 Broncos, Jake. And, talking about some surprise 2-0 teams, Carolina is 2-0, looked good doing it. The Raiders are 2-0, looks good doing it. The Broncos at 2-0, okay. They've beaten the Giants and they've beaten the Jags. And I think they're about to move to 3-0 by beating the Jets. And contender, pretender, that's always an discussion every year. This is going to be a pretender 3-0 Denver Broncos team. I don't think they are bad by any means, but I don't think they are 3-0 good. You got to look at the competition they've played so far. They've had a layup of an opening schedule so far. So, you can only beat the teams that are slated in front of you, and they've done that. So credit to them. And I'll take them to win this game. But I think things are going to catch up for them once they start playing these divisional games in that AFC West. So what about you?
If this game was in New York, I would definitely feel like the classic, one of my one-liners is, if the money is on all this team, take the opposite. If it was in New York, I would think about taking the Jets in the upset spot, because nobody in their right mind is going to be betting on the New York Jets after Zach Wilson's performance last week. 4 interceptions. At one point in the game, He had thrown 6 passes and 3 of them were intercepted. I mean, that's I could step in at quarterback for the Jets and put that up at least.
I'll just spike the ball and I would be playing better than Zach
I would
Wilson.
have a better quarterback rating than Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I am going to go with Denver here just because of the home field advantage. I think you're absolutely right. They have benefited from some, easy scheduling in the first portion of the year here. But yeah, you said it best. You can only beat the teams in front of you, and credit to Teddy Bridgewater for going out there and getting wins. So I got the Broncos.
Yeah. And the money line, though, Denver is favored by 10.5. So the Jets could very well cover that. I think that's a pretty wide margin. But yeah, we got the Broncos winning this one for sure. Let's move on to the now Jacoby Brissett Dolphins. Oh man, the Dolphins caught my attention week 1, beating the Patriots, but man, did things catch up with them against the Bills, 35-0. Going to Las Vegas Raiders, 2-0. Derek Carr, one of the top front runners for MVP after 2 games. He's looking good. This is the Derek Carr. We said it at the beginning of the season. When is he going to make a move? Like clearly when you watch him play, it's like, yeah, this is a good quarterback. He's got a good arm. I don't really understand a lot of I know he's got a lot of detractors, maybe because he hasn't really accomplished anything, done anything in the playoffs, obviously, but things could be coming together for him this year, Jake. And if Tua was starting for the Dolphins, I might, think about picking them, but I got to go with the Raiders here at home, moving to 3-0. Because I just don't think Jacoby Brissett can do enough. We saw him with the Colts enough. We have
a visitor, guest picker Wayne. Everybody say hi.
I love that name, Wayne.
Anyways, after that distraction, I'm going to also go with the Raiders here. Tough break for the Dolphins last week. I mean, losing 35-0 and also losing your starting quarterback all in one weekend. That's a tough day. But yeah, I'm going with the Raiders at home. Definitely eyebrow-raising team of the year thus far. Shout out to John Gruden for kind of bringing it together. Derek Carr, like you said, just kind of starting to put it together a little bit. I feel like their defense, especially their defensive line, is kind of underrated. But yeah, I got the Raiders at home.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to got to be the game of the week here, Jake. We got Tampa Bay on the road against the LA Rams, that is. Mm-hmm. Both teams winning, both teams 2-0. Rams kind of needed, a little bit of a comeback to beat the Colts, though, in their own at Indy. So they get the Bucs at home here, though. Man, this could be a good one, Jake. Both teams, good offenses and good defenses. These could very well be the 2 best teams in the NFC. What do you see here? Who you got?
Definite headline matchup of the weekend. Tom Brady's first ever game in the city of Los Angeles. Will he have butterflies? Will he be starstruck? Who knows? Who's to say?
Tom Brady's starstruck.
But I'm going to go with the home team here. I feel like a lot of people are going to be picking Tampa Bay. I mean, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady and Gronkowski and just what Tampa Bay has rolling right now. They just seem like easily the best team in the NFL, probably the favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champions. But the fact that, they're traveling to the West Coast, playing the Rams in their own building, Matthew Stafford career revitalization. The Rams are also looking pretty good. I'm going to go with the Rams here. The Rams feel like a surprising team that they, could put it together and make a real Super Bowl run. This could be an NFC Championship preview, Justin. Yeah,
for sure. I could totally see that. I think it's a little silly to go against the defending Super Bowl champions who are 2-0 and have looked good doing it. But if you've watched this channel, we're really high on the Rams. And I think for that reason alone, I got to go with the Rams too, just based off principle. I can't hype up this Rams team in every video that we do and then pick against them. So yeah. I'm going to go with the Rams as well to get it done. This game could go either way. Tampa Bay favored by 1.5 points. This could be high scoring. It could be low scoring, but I would be surprised if it's not close at the end of the day. What a great matchup here. Definitely looking forward to watching this one. If it's I might have to find a stream because I don't know if it's going to broadcast. It should be nationally televised. It's an afternoon game.
America's game of the week, I'd imagine.
Yeah, something like that. With Troy Aikman,
Joe
and
Buck. Troy. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing quite like 4 o'clock with Joe and Troy.
Yeah, that's the show. Okay, we both got the Rams. Interesting. It was a surprising sweep for us here. All right, let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks coming off a loss after collapsing against our beloved Tennessee Titans. Going to Minnesota, still looking for their first win. Oh, man, what a brutal start to the season for Minnesota. Losing in overtime to the Bengals and then losing after a missed short field goal by Greg Joseph. They got to get their win at some point, their first win. I mean, this Vikings team is very talented still. I think Mike Zimmer's a good coach. I think he is. I mean, he hasn't really done much. He's taken Minnesota on a couple deep playoff runs, but, the Seahawks are also a good team. I know this is kind of a toss-up, but you know what? Give me the Minnesota Vikings at home to right the ship against Seattle, dropping the Seahawks to 1-2. Seahawks got to be careful here in this game, Jake. They cannot start stacking some losses in a tough NFC West division in which they still have yet to play their first divisional game. So this is a very important game for Seattle here, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with Minnesota at home. What about you?
I feel it, Justin. I want to pick Minnesota with you. I'm going to take the Seahawks, but I just feel like I can see, after the game, scrolling the Twitter feed, and you have Kirk Cousins all jacked up after a really close game against Seattle at home. Minnesota gets their first win. You like that, but
yeah,
I don't know why I'm not a believer in Minnesota. Obviously, dropping 2 heartbreakers early on this season. But, I mean, something to say about not being able to close out those games late. I know Greg Joseph, ex-Titan kicker, pushes the short field goal, no shocker. But I don't believe in this Vikings team. I do think they're stacked with talent on offense, but why can't they put it together is beyond me. So I'm going to go with Seattle on the road here, but I think it will be a close, exciting game.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an interesting point about, you always hear the phrase, finding a way to win. And Minnesota just hasn't done that yet. I mean, it sucks that you lost the game because the kicker can't make a field goal. They didn't find a way. It's weird to put it in that kind of context. But I think, that kind of says something about a team when they lose close games. And Vikings have yet to do that. So if they want to win this game, they're just going to have to blow out Seattle and not leave any question. That's going to be difficult. But anyway, that'll be an interesting game here to see how that plays out. We got a Sunday night game here. Packers prime time again. They are on the road taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who are 2-0 after winning in Philadelphia 17-11. I don't know I think I watched the highlights of that game. I don't know how that happened. What a weird score. What a weird game that must have been. I think it was 17-3, and then Philly scored a late touchdown and then 2-point conversion. So that's how they got to 7. But yeah, kind of a low scoring, just a little slugfest, I guess. 49ers, though, 2-0. People were expecting them to have a bounce back year, getting their defensive stars healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo healthy. This would be the Packers' performance against the Lions. This is the Packers team we're expecting to see. This could be a good game, Jake. And, this is a tough one. San Francisco is favored by 3.5, but I'll take the Packers, though. I think they continue rolling. I think I watch Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. That's a great segment, by the way. Rodgers is very candid, and it's a very good segment on a good show. Talking about how every year, despite no matter how many of the same players that you bring back, you always just have to figure out. I just said it. Figure out how to win again. It's a thing you have to figure out every single year, despite the consistency as far as personnel and coaching goes. And they definitely found it in the second half against the Lions. So if they can keep that going, they're going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, like they always are with Aaron Rodgers back there. So I'll take the Packers to take down the 49ers at home. What about you?
I am going to take, I'm a notorious Packers picker in these NFL picks, but I'm going to go with the home team, San Francisco 49ers. I think that a lot of people are going to be on Green Bay, and I kind of like Green Bay in this game too if they were at home. I think they're still kind of putting back together the mess of the offseason. Aaron Rodgers is kind of half thinking about hosting Jeopardy and half thinking about doing peyote in Hawaii with his new wife. And he's got a lot on his mind, Justin. And the 49ers, despite being slightly unconvincing in their first two wins, they let Detroit kind of creep back up and make it a game. And then obviously only winning by 6 to the underdog Eagles. I'm going to go with San Francisco to kind of get back on track, look more like the Super Bowl contender that we're like kind of used to seeing out of San Francisco and Shanahan. Give me the home team 49ers.
Yeah. All right, man. We're picking different. I feel like in a lot of these games. So somebody is about to get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
I might jump into a bigger lead, or you might just surpass me and have your own 4 or 5 game lead by the end of this. So
I would love to reel off 13 wins. I couldn't believe going back and watching it back. I was counting. It was another one for Justin, another one for Justin, another one for Justin. He hasn't lost any games.
It's got to be one. I feel like I may have had 13 before in years past, but that's got to be one of my best weeks ever in 4 years of picking on Titans Tube. So we got a couple more games, last of the non-Titans games. Monday Night Football. Oh boy, NFC East matchup in primetime. Who saw that coming? We got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams are 1-1. Dallas with their 1 loss to Tampa Bay, 1 against the Chargers. Pretty good win there on the road. Eagles, they beat Atlanta big time, and then they lost to the 49ers. So still kind of figuring out these teams. Yeah, two games. It's still tough to see who's actually legit. This is a tough one, Jake. I don't know. This could be a toss-up, but I'll buy into the Cowboys hype again another week. A lot of people think they're going to be contenders. They might be the best team in the NFC East. I still think it's Washington, low key, but we'll see how that pans out. Dak Prescott playing good football again. So, and I like what they're doing with Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard, kind of using both backs, splitting them a little bit. Because I know Zeke has gotten a lot of carries in the past. He's had injuries. So taking the load off him, I think will do that offense good in the long term. I like their receivers. And, the Eagles offense has to, contend a little bit better than putting up 11 points against a tough San Francisco team. And I know that they had a good game against Atlanta, but this is a big game for the Eagles to kind of test for them, test their mettle, and see what they're made of by going into Dallas. But I still think Dallas gets this one. What about you, Jake?
I think there's something happening and something brewing in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. I feel like he's kind of, despite putting up 11 last week, granted, I feel like the tide is kind of turning for him. He's figuring some things out and looking somewhat decent. So I'm going to take the Eagles on the road in a possible upset here for the NFC East lead, possibly. Yeah. So I'm going to take the Eagles. Something about Dallas's backfield. I like that you mentioned that. I watched a lot of the Dallas 4:00 game aside from the Titans game, and it seemed like every time there was a big run, a big gashing, kind of somebody making a play out of the backfield, it's not Zeke Elliott. It's Pollard every single time. And I even pointed at the TV like, oh, there's another, crazy run. Who is it? Not Zeke. Even though he is getting, he's got the star power, he's got the big contract, he's going to get the ball. Shout out Tony Pollard for kind of making it. Is it his backfield now? I mean, from the looks of it through the first 2 weeks, it just might be. So I feel like the offensive firepower of Dallas, dropping Zeke off of the ledge a little bit, might not have as much firepower as once thought. But anyways, I digress. I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Again, we pick separately. So we better pick the same way this time, Jake. You did not pick the Titans last time, and you regret it immensely. You would have had a winning record, Jake, if you just stuck with your fanhood. You would have been 9-7.
I know. Well, I pick the Titans, or I pick against the Titans rather, when I am angry at them, and I think, I mean, if you look back, they have usually won when I pick against them. So if anything, it's a motivator. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you don't pick the Titans this time. I hope you're pissed at them still. Titans getting the Indianapolis Colts at home. As I'm sure you're aware, it is Houston Oilers tribute week, and Texans fans are pissed about it, and it's hilarious to me. But last time we had some kind of tribute against the Colts at home. I think it was the retirement of Eddie George and Steve McNair's numbers. And what a disaster of a game that was. The field caught on fire. The Titans looked terrible. Titans dropped that game. So let's not have any more tributes if we look like crap again in this game against Indy. Let's keep the tributes for a separate game, maybe a road game. I don't know. So I got to go with the Titans. The second half. I love those second half Titans against the Seattle Seahawks, climbing and fighting their way back into this game and finding a way to win, as we say. And I think that's something that has, been kind of instilled into this culture. Finally, the Titans are a team that can find a way to win. We see them fight and claw their back into games that when you think they're dead in the water, and they still get it done. Colts on the road. With the big thing is what's going on with Carson Wentz. 2 sprained ankles on the same play, courtesy of Aaron Donald. So it's going to be tough sledding, I think, for the Colts if it's going to be Jacob Eason back there. But, Colts always give the Titans fits. They are the thorn in our side. They are our curse. They have completely owned this series historically. Titans haven't beaten the Colts at home since 2017. Can they snap that streak here? You got to like their chances. I've gone on too long. I got the Titans. Jake, what about you?
So help me God, Justin, if the Titans go out and lay an egg against Jacob Eason. I think I saw this morning before recording that, he is expected to go, and they're bringing up a practice squad quarterback to kind of split reps. And the old saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So if we go out and lay an egg against a practice squad QB and Jacob Eason trading off series, I mean, what is there to say about this Titans team, especially in front of the home crowd? I don't think they'll ever have, a sellout stadium again if they start this super hyped up season with the laid egg against the Cardinals, and then you go flounder against the division rival with a chance to bury them at 0-3 against a backup quarterback, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The Titans have to win this game, and that's why I'm picking them to win this game. It can't be a letdown spot, Justin.
I totally agree. Speaking of, Titans finding a way to win has been something that has become a part of the culture of this team. The culture of this team has also been to drop games that they have no business losing and to look completely unprepared and not ready. That's always been a Titans thing. So hopefully we don't see that. Hopefully we can start to push those days into the past. I mean, it happened as recently as week 1, so it's still there. It's still there. So we got to get it done against the Colts. We both got the Titans here. I like our chances given the injury and the quarterback situation that the Colts have. Because even if Carson Wentz does play, he can't be as mobile as he was, before spraining both of his ankles. So, I like the Titans defense to get after Wentz back there or Eason. So that's it. Enough on that game. Enough on all these games. That is going to do it for us here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed our picks. Give us your take in the comments below. Leave your picks if you feel the need. And appreciate it, guys. Jake, anything left to say?
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and stay tuned for the preview video for the Colts game this upcoming week. Everybody, enjoy the Thursday night game. Have a great football weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. Let's get it.
Let's get it. 2-1. Let's go, Titans. I'm going for 16-0 personally this week. I got to build.
Yep. There's always something to build on.
Complacent.
Perfect. Peace out.
All right. See y'all.